Hello, Crazy Chef Productions. Today we're going to do something different. We're going to do the Crazy Chef Ultimate Roast Potato. Now I'm using Maris Pipers, so you could use any sort of red, probably red is probably best. I'm using Maris Pipers. If they're big I've cut them into 2, if they're very big you cut them into 4, but otherwise I'm leaving them whole. I'm going to put them in some cold water with some salt, sea salt. I'm going to bring it up to the boil and time it exactly 2 minutes boiling. Then I'm going to strain it. I let it steam a bit with turmeric, so I use turmeric, it makes it a little bit golder. I'm going to roughen them up in the colander to make sure I give them a rough edge, and then I'm going to cook them in goose fat. Use goose fat or olive oil or a mixture. I just happen to have some goose fat, so I like the flavour of goose fat. In the oven at 200 degrees for about 50 minutes, and I'll baste them every now and again and rotate them to make sure they don't stick. Right, we've come up to 2 minutes. Stop the stopwatch. I'm now going to turn that off. I'm now going to strain. I'll be back in a second. I'm now going to strain the potatoes. So I'm boiling for 2 minutes. I'll be back in a second. Right, strain. Now I'm going to roughen them up a bit. I'm not roughening quite as well as I want to. I'm going to roughen with a fork. A little bit of turmeric on it, that extra gold, which makes it extra, so a little bit of turmeric. Now I'm going to put the top on. There's no water in that, it's just basically its own steam. So, I've got the goose fat in the oven warming up. Right, I'm now going to put them in the oven. Right, it's going in goose fat. I might put a little bit of extra olive oil in, but it's going in goose fat. I'm going to put them in and I'm going to just cover them in goose fat. I'm going to go back in a few minutes and redo it. Right. The object is not to let them stick. I'm using goose fat. You can use olive oil if you like. I prefer a bit of goose fat because I use goose fat when I do a joint, do a chicken. I usually do it with goose fat. So there we are. Now I'm going to put it in the oven, 200 degrees C, for about 50 minutes. But I will take them out after about 15 minutes to baste them, and just keep basting them every so often just to get them nice and crispy. Right, I'll come back when we're on to the basting. 10 minutes in, I'm just going to take them out of the oven. And turn them round, make sure they're not sticking. Now you might see a pork chop in here, but ignore the pork chop. It's just something I put in because I fancy a bit of pork in my dinner. Ignore the pork chop, we're looking at the roast potatoes. Okay, that's nice and... Okay, they're not sticking, they're okay, so I'm going to have to put them back. Mm. 200 degrees. 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. Right, come back in a minute. Well, we've been going for an hour at about 200 degrees and we've got some lovely soft roast potatoes and crisp on the outside. It's a question of choice. You can put it in for a little bit more, get a little bit more crispy. It's got lovely crisp on the outside. So there we are. Done in goose fat. Thank you.